Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this video, bring you guys my shark deck profile, and this is post Rage of the Abyss. So we're gonna get started here with 3 copies of Abyss Shark. This card was amazing when it came out, and it's still really great. You're able to just special summon this card if you control a water monster, and then it's a searcher as well. It just provides a lot of value, and it's also a level. It changes level depending on the exceed you want to get out. So it's pretty amazing. Crystal Shark is able to special summon itself out, and of course able to do a level change thing for the exceed monsters. So that's great. And then we have 3 copies of the new Surfacing Big Jaws. This card's pretty insane because again, it can do the level thing for the exceed of a water monster. But not only that, during your main phase, if a spell card was activated this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do that, if this card is no more special summon, you can add 1 shark monster from your deck to your hand. So it makes it great for a starter, but also as an extender. And that's why we have 3 copies of Buzzsaw Shark. If you guys saw the combos, which will be on the top right corner, Buzzsaw Shark is amazing for enabling these combos and letting you go straight into Surfacing Big Jaw and then go into your Bahamut Shark. Besides that, we do have 2 copies of the new Drake Shark, as when this card is summoned, it's able to bring itself out. And not only that, but it can treat itself as multiple materials, which could be relevant for when you're going into Shark Drake. And then we have Xyz Remora here that I run just 1 copy of. You could definitely argue for the second copy, but I like to just search this card out, use it, get out a bunch of monsters, and then exceed like crazy. And usually you just need the 1 copy. And then I run 3 copies of the Princess here, as when this card is no more special summon, you can banish this card, special summon 1 level 4 lower fish monster for your deck. And that's great. So when you can use this card, this is going to be a great starter. And that's why we run 1 copy of 1 for 1. I saw some people dropped it, and I think that's fine. You can definitely go without it. But I like running it, as it does just kind of, it makes it a lot easier to go into your Buzzsaw Shark or into your Surfacing Big Jaw, and then just play from there. And then for the hand traps, I have 3 copies of the new Molcharmy for Ross. This card is pretty great, as each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck and or extra deck, immediately draw a card. So if you saw, it's a form of Max C. It's just one of the cards that is divided, like, because they divided Max C's effect into multiple Molcharmys, and this is the second iteration of that. Then we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom, because it is Ash Blossom. 3 copies of Effect Veiler, because it's Effect Veiler. And then 1 copy of Called by the Grave, as, you know, you'll want your opponent stopping your plays. And then we have 1 copy of the Reincarnate Unveiled Male. Usually you're going to be able to search this card out because it does count as an Armored Exceed card, and that's relevant for when you go into the Xyz Armor Fortress. And then you just play this just to satisfy the Surfacing Big Jaws spell effect activation, and that's why I don't run a lot of spells. I saw a lot of people that they like spamming the spells, but I think you're easily able to search this out. We do have cards like 3 copies of Upstart Goblin here. It helps you draw so you can go into your starters or your extenders, but not only that, but it just fulfills that role for the Surfacing Big Jaw, so I like to run that there. And then the 1 for 1 is nice because it does let you go into your starter and also fulfills that spell play. And then we have 3 copies of Imperm because of Infinite Impermanence. And then we have 1 copy of 4 Armored Exceed. This card is pretty nice because if an Exceed monster is in the field, you can use this to Exceed summon 1 Exceed monster you control. But not only that, you can use that to equip 1 Exceed monster from your grave or field to another Exceed monster. And obviously that's relevant for when you go into the 4 Armor Dark Knight Lancer, because then you can take one of your opponent's monsters as a non-target removal. It's pretty annoying and very easy to set up if you've seen the combos. Then we have 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. This is the new hand trap that is able to negate a summon. And that's great, but not only that, if you have a trap in your graveyard, which you usually do because of the 4 Armored Exceed or the Virtue Stream, you can pop it, and it does lock you out of light and earth and wind monster effects, which is fine because we're just running water monsters. And then we have 1 copy of Virtue Stream. So Virtue Stream is an Icarus for the deck, and it's great with the new Virtue Dragon. If you saw the Atlantean Mermail, you could see how great this is, and if you saw the combos again, then you know that this is a pretty solid card, and goes in match because you're going to be using waters anyways, so might as well punish your opponent while you're doing that. Alright guys, before we go to the extra deck, if you are enjoying the video, consider becoming a patron. For just $5 a month, you can support the channel, and you can influence the content I create, and you get access to the Discord. But besides that, let's get started here with the extra deck of 4 Armor Dark Knight Lancer. This card is pretty amazing because you're just able to get it out and equip it, as I covered, with the 4 Armored Exceeds. And then we have the 4 Armor Crystal Zero Lancer, which is just a material beefer. We're just going to use this to stack up the Exceed materials. Here we have the new copy, 1 copy of the new number C32 Shark Drake Leviathan. This is an imperm on this, and it's also pretty easy to get out, especially if you have Shark Drake, which is why we run it, even though it isn't that great. We have 1 copy of the Xyz Armor Fortress, as is going to be your way of searching out your full Armored Exceed and your Reincarnate Unveiled Male. And then we have the Nash Knight here that is able to take one of your opponent's monsters, and it's pretty easy to set up, and you can use a number 101 monster. We have 2 copies of Bahamut Shark, as it's able to summon out your Totally Awesome and your Virtue Dragon. We have 1 copy of the full armored Utopic Ray Lancer. As this card, at the start of battle phase, you can negate the effects of all attack position monster your opponent currently controls. And then we have one copy of number 101 Silent Honor Arc, as you're able to take one of your opponent's monsters. This card's a classic, so you guys probably are aware of it. And then we have one copy of number 4 Stealth Kragan. It's going to turn all monsters onto the board into water monsters, and then you can pop something and do a bunch of burn damage. So it's a pretty solid card, and if that gets killed, you can go into your spawn here. Abyss Dweller can lock your opponent out of their grave. The Virtue Dragon is your way of searching out your Virtue Stream, which is your Icarus. And not only that, but you can use this as playing around with the Exceed materials, moving them around, and getting a card from your graveyard to your hand, which is great because that's how we're going to be using Surfacing Yugioh's effect, usually. And then we have one copy of Totally Awesome because it's Omni Negate that you're easily able to get out in a Shark deck. And then for the side deck are cards for you to consider. So one copy of Former Black Ray Lancer if you want to beef up the materials. One copy of Totally Awesome because having a second copy is pretty amazing, especially if you run 2 Bahamut Sharks. I just couldn't find the space for it, but if you can, definitely do that there. And then we have one copy of the Xyz Remora if you want to beef that up just to ensure that you don't lose that copy and you can extend it, then definitely consider that. And then here's the 7th Tachyon. So I originally uploaded the video and I included this card, and then I realized that this is not coming out in Rage of the Abyss. So I wanted to change that for you guys and removed it. And so 7th Tachyon is going to be pretty amazing once it comes out for the deck. Sadly, it's not going to come out in Rage of the Abyss, but keep an eye out for this card, guys, for when it comes out, because it really does help the deck, as it's a searcher for the deck, and it makes it a lot easier to go into your combo starters, as it does fulfill the role of Surfacing Yugioh's spell effect. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.